Today, we are going to be talking about men's mental health, but probably not in the way you think, so hang tight. So they just did a survey of a nationally representative group of like over 40,000 women aged 15 to 44 about a broad range of fertility-related indicators. Findings showed that there was little change during that time in the proportion of women who said they intended to have children. So on average, 62% of women said they intended to have a child and 35% did not intend to. They also figured out that the intensity of desire has definitely dropped, and that up to 25% of childless women who intended to have children also said they would not be bothered if they ended up not having a child, which is what I love. I mean, I really think that speaks to the whole decentering movement, like decentering marriage, men, children, all of these things has been really, really paying off. So well done, ladies. Like, good job, everybody. A round of freaking applause. Like, the financial aspect of it was also pretty clear that a lot of women were like, with what money? Like, I want to have a kid, but with what money? Like,
just one stroll down the baby aisle is enough birth control for me to like last a lifetime, because how is anybody affording this?
I just love this because I think it speaks to women realizing that a lot of this is like a fairy tale and like a happily ever after. It's a very common like joke trope in Russian like or Slavic TV sitcoms where like the husband comes home from work or like he comes home drunk or something and the wife is waiting up for him with a frying pan. And the whole joke is like, yeah, she's going to kick your ass with that fry. And she just starts beating him over the head with it.
As she should, Queen.
One of our TVIPs has brought some tea.
I know the true crime community gets a lot of shit, some of it well-deserved, but I would really like your perspective. I have learned more about the male psyche and how they treat women from watching true crime, whether it's in the form of podcasts, books, television shows, documentaries, whatever. I've also learned about how incompetent the police are and how much they fuck up and how women can't even trust the justice system to prosecute these men. Men love to talk about how women don't take accountability. 100 women versus accountability. But you have men who will annihilate their whole families and then take their own life just because they want to win. Whether it's they don't want to get divorced or they don't want her to take the children, however they view it in their mind. That is truly the most ultimate form of refusing to take accountability. They would rather die than be held accountable in the court of law and public opinion. Which is why I think maybe women are drawn to true crime, because even if the justice system has failed, the simple act of circulating the story is a way to hold these men accountable and society accountable for failing women.
Oh my God, that's
a very good point.
I think women, more often than not, they listen to true crime stories like this to, I guess, in some way learn from it and, you know, learn what not to do and learn, you know, what may have worked and maybe what didn't work. And so in order to have more...
God, it's like a survival
methods.
thing.
Yeah, it's a survival thing. It's these are, you know, unlocking new methods of protection for us and be like, see, she did this, this, and this. So if I don't do that, then I'll have a different outcome, even though it's hit or miss with some of these.
I've never made that connection before.
See, that's accountability.
But that is true.
That's accountability that we don't deserve. Like, why the fuck is it our accountability? I cannot believe we have to share a planet with these troglodytes. Like, this is crazy. This is degenerate behavior. Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard.
Yeah.
People completely ignored all the evidence against him.
Before she came out, wasn't she like one of Hollywood's it girls, and she was just so beautiful, and everybody just revered her. That's proof that it doesn't matter who you are or how beautiful you are not going to win at patriarchy. That is proof.
1000%.
Anytime you come out about your story or tell the truth about the abuse you suffered or whatever, they are always going to side with the man. Do you think the male loneliness epidemic, as it gets worse, because it's going to get worse, do you think that that's going to initially they will try their hardest to make the patriarchy stronger because they're going through an extinction burst? But do you think it has the potential to crumble the patriarchy after there are no women participating?
Before we get into it at all, I want to make two distinctions here. Number one is that men's mental health is not women's concern. We are already carrying all of the emotional labor, basically, of society. We are already dealing with men's mental health, like on an individual level, very much so. We are already expected to care and worry about men's mental health on like an individual level with women. And, you know, most husbands, most sons, most fathers require a lot of emotional labor on the women's part that are in their life. And so we are not here at all to rest this burden on women whatsoever. Okay. The other thing about men's mental health is that it essentially and ultimately goes back to the model of masculinity that it's men that won't let go of. I think the only way to crumble the patriarchy is if men stop holding on to this masculinity thing and take charge of their own mental health by letting go of the quote unquote privilege that masculinity gives them. Because the only privilege of that is being able to oppress women. I once again just want to emphasize that this is not for women to like take this and try and like evangelize to men about it. You know, if you have like friends you can send this episode to, that would probably be great. Friends that are struggling with mental health or whatever. But I just want to make it very clear, this is not women's job. This is just for us to understand the socialization that leads to this and to actually stay away from men who exhibit signs of men's mental health, okay?
So there's a part of me that feels like it almost has to happen. The male loneliness epidemic has to happen if we as a society if we're going to move forward in a positive way, if things are to get better. Because they are the troglodyte thing. They are so they're like not evolving.
No, seriously.
They're so stuck in this mindset, the patriarchal mindset, which is the social conditioning. You're not supposed to be vulnerable, believing that women are not seeing women as human. The loneliness has to happen. They're either going to change for the better and treat women better, or they're going to build more community with men. Some of them are just going to come out the closet. Because that's a huge problem with the way men treat women is because, you know, they really wish that they can just come out the closet and be with other men, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's only a problem when you're hiding it and then you're treating women and children bad or treating people bad in general because
you want the privilege of masculinity, being a straight man under the patriarchy and like using your peen to dominate women. Like, ooh, so gross, dude. Like, that's what gives your life meaning. It's the only thing. Like,
this is why I hate to say that I don't care about male mental health. But I've said
nor should you.
I've said this many
as
times
a woman,
before.
Nor should you. You already care about it in the way that you have to protect yourself, in the way that you have to live your life.
Absolutely.
We have done more than enough. We already carry that burden for men. Like, let alone let us start advocating for them on a grand scale. What the fuck? No, they've never advocated for us. They'll be like, men gave you your rights. No, the fuck you didn't. We fought for them.
You withheld them.
You withheld them in the first place, right?
You never had the right to do that in the first place.
Right. Yes. If you were a normal, non-psychopath,
it wouldn't have ever happened.
Yeah. If you weren't literally in the troglodyte stage of your freaking evolution, where you're like, no, more for me, more for me. It's crazy. It's crazy. We literally evolved because of cooperation, and men to this day refuse to cooperate. Women have been dragging men and their knuckles on the fucking ground behind us this whole time, like into forward progress. And I'm tired. I'm tired. Yeah, you're committing violent crimes against women. What do you mean? Like, you make sexist jokes about women. You demean us. You belittle us. Like, you catcall us. What about our mental health? What about women? But women never get to ask that, because then we're just complaining. Then we're just bitching. Then, oh, just fix it. Oh, just don't wear that outside. Well, just don't do that. Okay, I'm going to start telling men the same exact thing. Well, you know, maybe if you wouldn't wear those cargo shorts everywhere you go, maybe more people would talk to you. Maybe if you bought a stick of deodorant, maybe more women would talk to you. It's what you're wearing. It's how you dress.
Yes.
It's their little Pornhub hats. Like, I literally see men walking around with Pornhub logo on, like,
that's another
t-shirts
thing
or hats or, you know, what have you, or even like maybe even like a Playboy bunny thing. Although that's, I mean, I'm glad women have like, you know, taken that and repurposed it and like turned it into their own thing where it's all cutesy and whatnot. I think it's different when a woman wears a Playboy thing and when men do it. Because when men do it, it gives me the ick.
Totally agree. Very icky.
Because like they'll wear like the hats with like a giant Playboy bunny logo thing.
That's
and like girlies, they just wear like
Yeah.
a tiny little sticker of it or like a, I don't know. You know what I'm
I know exactly what you're saying. And I agree. I agree with you. That was another thing that I forgot to mention when I was listing all the ways that they contribute to their own loneliness. The porn thing, that's probably number one. If it's not number one, it's number two. The social conditioning is probably number one. You know, just you have to be a man. You have to carry yourself this way. And it leads you down this rabbit hole of just death and despair and depression. And it's just, and the porn thing, they already don't see women as human. And then you add porn into it. And it's like, there's no way to go from there. You just really have to.
Women are not addicted to porn on that grand scale. I know some women are. I know that it's a problem for everybody.
Right.
But it's because those people are using it as a pacifier, but it's because you're not seeing the bigger and better things ahead of you. Like I know plenty of men, and you can tell by the way that even like their eyes move, like there's physical signs of like men who are addicted to porn versus ones that are not.
Everything just snowballed from there being too many men, when back in the day, women would all share the same male with no problem because he had the stronger genes. It's like, okay, and you just pass them on to the next person, and then you pass them on to the next person. And this whole monogamy thing, all of this is all made up. None of this is natural. We are the only species that's going against nature. Like literally the only species going against nature, going the opposite of nature.
And monogamy is not necessarily unnatural, but it's natural in those animals where the males provide equitably into the society.
Right.
So by all the markers, we should not be monogamous. Men do not deserve monogamy from women. And yet they have forced it upon us by claiming land and claiming resources.
Men are just operating on just like a really outdated script, like a 1940s, 50s, 60s script of like, if you do the right things, you'll have certain outcomes. And this is probably the first generation where they're realizing that that is simply not the case. And then for the first time that they have this outdated script, and it's troubling for them because now they don't know what to do.
They don't know what to do.
They don't know who to listen to.
Right, because it sounds like there was exploitation involved in order to make a man's life happen. Like it sounds like somebody had to be exploited and used and squeezed for every single last drop so that a man could have all the success he felt like he deserved under the patriarchy. It was always happening at someone's expense. You know what I'd love to see? I'd love to see how men's mental health would get if we actually had equality across the board. Because women say they want equality, but they refuse to commit 90% of all violent crime.
Oh my God.
They refuse to, heckle men.
Yes.
They refuse to, come out and jump men in a dark alley.
They refuse to sow seeds of doubt in these men regarding their own safety, where it's like, you're a strange man inviting a strange woman back to your place. Like, aren't you a little nervous? Like, don't you think I'm going to,
rob you or something?
Yeah,
or
rob
drug
you. Yeah.
I would love to see the kind of mental health issues that men would have if they were actually treated like the way that we're treated in everyday life. Because my mental health is hanging by a fucking thread every day. And then it's like, well, what about men?
We all know about our own mental health crisis thing, but like the fact that, it's only for men's mental health crisis, and not a mental health crisis just in general, including women. That's how you know it's a very male-centered society. It's a very patriarchal world that we're living in.
There will never be an article about a female loneliness epidemic unless it was to be condescending. Like it will be, see, this is what happens when women standards are too high. You're just going to end up alone and die alone with cats.
It would never be telling men to lower their standards.
Never.
TikTok I saw of a woman who works in elderly care or like a home, a facility for older people, and she says like women always get visitors and men
they don't.
They don't.
That's
very lonely experience for them.
That's very true.
And so I think about that coupled with the age, and not correlation and causation to get into that conversation, but I do think about the fact that like maybe it's, you know, just a consequence of how you were in life. If you were selfish.
100% it is.
Oh, for sure.
Shira 7 has a great bit about that because she's like, I bet y'all didn't know I used to be a mortician.
Yeah.
And it is men that die alone in their apartment in their tidy whities surrounded by cans of soup. It's not women.
And people don't always find them for a long time. And it goes to show you how much. Remember when someone else came out with the stats on the amount of unclaimed bodies that's in the morgue? It's usually men.
Ouch.
That they'll be in the morgue for weeks, months, and nobody comes to even like claim their body.
They don't realize that the thing that they're doing is going to bite them in the ass eventually, because an old man is the closest that most men will ever come to feeling like a woman. You know what I mean? You feel weaker. You feel like everything, like nobody really cares about you. Like everything is just on you because you're no longer useful.
Yeah.
Yes, you're no longer useful. You no longer have a job. You no longer like contributing. Right. And so people are like, well, you were only ever good for your material. You know what I mean? Like a lot of men overinvest in like the stupidest things because of this too. They overinvest in their work, right? They become workaholics because they think that that's what makes them a man. And then they're like on their deathbed, they're like, man, I wish I hadn't worked so much. I wish I had spent more time with my wife. I wish I hadn't spent, you know, so much time away from my kids.
That also is contributing to like the male loneliness epidemic, because all of these men have in common is that they're not telling these men, you know, to, I guess, you know, grow the fuck up.
Be a better person.
Actually be a better person. Yeah. And like reinvest in these soft skills. Like as much as you're putting in towards, you know, getting that bag and like this grind and hustle culture, you need to also be putting in that work to like grow mentally and emotionally as a person. Like, cause like stoicism is like the closest thing that they can come to having their own form of strength, because they don't look at, you know, something like our emotional maturity as a strength, and like our ability to connect with other people is like,
they view it as weakness because it results in cooperation, and they're like, no, it should result in you dominating somebody. If something is working, that means you're dominating. And it's like, no, we can all work together. Like, oh my God, it's literally an unevolved mindset, because if you look at why our evolution works, it's literally because of cooperation. And the fittest of us are succeeding, and those people are women.
Absolutely.
Buying more houses, more education, you know, starting to out-earn men. Just in mental health markers, absolutely soaring over the men. And it's like, you know, I don't know. Maybe there's something to it.
The male loneliness epidemic is a direct result of patriarchy and other men who put y'all men, if y'all are listening, in the situations that y'all are in. This is not a woman's problem. I always say how much I don't care, even though some years back I might have cared a little bit. I don't care anymore. Men are the one who said that you can't do that. Men are the one who made these, you know, and they refuse to see it. And it's like, it's right in your face. But no, they can't accept that, because then they would have to admit everything that they were ever told about men and women was a lie. And that's their whole identity. Their whole identity would come crashing down. And I think that's the reason why they won't. And that's the reason why they're going to continue to be lonely. Because, I mean, what do you want us to do? We are learning the signs of a depressed man and watching the crime shows to see how we can figure out how to be safe to get away from you. Because if you're not going to want to grow and be a better person, I don't fucking want to be around you.
Especially while I don't have the rights to my own body.
Exactly. Especially not. Right? Oh, after that, it was a wrap.
Yeah,
for me,
a wrap.
It was a wrap for me after Roe.
When men didn't come out to protest us losing rights to our bodies, because I thought it was men that gave us our rights. So
absolutely.
Exactly. I guess I don't give a fuck about your rights either. If I could take more rights away from men, I would.
And this is all Mother Nature, in my opinion. If that means a lot of men are just going to take themselves out the game, or they're either going to be better people or whatever that is, however that turns out, I don't give a fuck. Mother Nature doesn't give a fuck. Yeah. Mother Nature is just going to orchestrate things to get things back in balance.
Because the way that men want us to react to this is to once again pick up all the emotional labor, pick them up like a little baby and baby them. That's what they want. They just want us to tell them it's okay. I know
Here's your
that you don't
binky.
feel, here's your binky, here's your porn, here's your free vagina.
Right.
Like, no, you're not going to get shit. We don't have rights to our own bodies and y'all are making it worse. Like, it is absolutely crazy that we should also be tasked with dismantling the system that oppresses us at our expense and like gives men benefits at our expense. Like, everything comes back to it is at women's expense, and every day men just want more from us.
Yep.
Every single day it's like, yeah, but what about this
Bottomless
and what
cups.
about that? Yes, exactly. It's like, until you learn that it is your personal responsibility, we're all going to stay stuck here. And until we make our society women and children centered, men will never get out of the mental
They
health
won't.
hole. They
won't.
never will. They will continue living in the hell that they continue to build for themselves. It's like you're adding logs to the hellfire that you're living in because you keep insisting that society should be male centered. Okay, I guess we all ain't shit. I
Right.
guess we'll all suffer. I guess we will all just live in hell because you want to center it around you instead of rightfully centering it around women and children.
We've only had these rights for what, maybe 25 years. We're like some of our first in our generation to be able to have degrees and be able to have these careers that we have, these white collar jobs. Like, we were some of the first. And that's so, oh gosh, like, we really just live in two different realities.
We do.
And like, as much as I wanted to like yell back at them and, like scream, just like give them shaken baby syndrome, like grab them by the shoulders and like, but it really, it's eye opening to me.
I feel like women, or the female of any species, but women represent the natural flow of a river. And the men are stones and
The rocks, totally.
and sticks and boats swimming against the stream of the river. That's what they represent. If they were in their boat going with the flow of the river and not trying to fight against the natural flow of the river, they will be better off. But
no, for sure.
They just don't.
They just don't think like that. They think going against the flow makes them more
makes
of a
them
man,
masculine.
makes their pee-pee bigger.
You're only hurting yourself, and you're hurting the women around you and the children around you. But also, too, the women who think that they can help men out of their mental mental loneliness or illness, you're just gonna get either beat up, like abused, or killed in your quest. Because the problem is that a lot of y'all are trying to help men that don't want to help themselves. They are not taking any steps.
Ladies, that was a wonderful conversation. And unfortunately, we do have to end it. And I'm glad we're ending it on this note. What about women? That is the conclusion to our men's mental health discussion. Is what about women? What are y'all going to do about our rights and about our happiness and about our mental health? Maybe consider committing less violent crime. Maybe consider wearing, less cargo shorts. Maybe consider just being less of a insufferable
Stop wearing
troll.
hats everywhere.
Yeah.
Stop breathing out of your mouths.
Think about somebody else other than yourself for 1 second. That's my advice to the men affected by the mental health crisis. We love you. Bye.
Godspeed.